there, and welcome to this Live Music Now interactive and virtual performance. My name is Joe Cavalli-Price, and I'm a pianist and accompanist for Live Music Now Wales. I'm delighted to be here to entertain you for a performance lasting about 30 minutes, comprising everything from jazz to Welsh classics. First, a bit about Live Music Now. Live Music Now was founded in 1977 by Yehudi Menuhin, with the aim of bringing live music to those who ordinarily wouldn't get the chance to hear it. I'm sure back then in 1977, he never would have imagined that some of these performances would be virtual. But it is heartening to see that, whilst we're sadly not able to be together in person, we can still come together to share the joy and the love of music at a time when we most need it. My first song is an absolute classic, composed by Henry Mancini for Audrey Hepburn in the film Breakfast at Tiffany's. It was so popular that it won an Academy Award for the Best Original Song. Can anyone guess the title? Of course, you're completely right. It was indeed Moon River. Now, I often find myself humming along to the tune, even if I don't actually know all the words. So I would love it if you joined in too and sang or hummed along whilst I'm playing. Now this next piece is written by a Cardiff boy, or should I say Cardiff. I'm going to give you a couple of clues to see if you can figure out who he is. He was born David Ivor Davis. He has a statue dedicated to him in Cardiff Bay, and he had his first hit with Keep the Home Fires Burning. Any guesses? Of course, it's Ivor Novello, and I'm going to play you now one of my favourites, We'll Gather Lilacs. Now, on the Live Music Now scheme, I usually work as an accompanist, so a situation like this is completely bizarre for me because I'm so used to having a wonderful singer next to me, serenading you all whilst I play. So I thought, how best can I incorporate this into a virtual performance? Well, I'm going to whisk you all away now to the Royal Albert Hall, because in May 2018 I had the extraordinary experience of guest accompanying the Festival of Massed Male Choirs. It was such a surreal and incredible weekend, and stepping out onto the stage of the Albert Hall with hundreds of people watching on is something I'll never forget. So sit back and relax and enjoy this performance by the choir of Shenandoah, a traditional American folk song. do have a bit of a confession to make. During the winter months, I find it really, really hard to get out of bed. When I wake up in the morning and I open my curtains to see a dark, gloomy sky and the rain, all I want to do is just get back into bed with a good book and a cup of tea and stay there for the rest of the day. So during those winter months, what I like to think about are the blue skies and the sun beating down during the summer months. So I'm going to take you away now to the south of France. I want you to close your eyes and imagine that we're on a long, sprawling beach with the sea lapping against the rocks and the crisp white sand. We're lying there with a book in one hand and a cocktail in the other. And I want you to close your eyes and be taken away to that place as you listen to George Gershwin's Summertime. Now, do we have any jazz fans here today? I thought we might have a few. Well, I love jazz music, and one of my favourite jazz musicians is the pianist and singer Nat King Cole. Just such a phenomenal voice and such a phenomenal talent as well on the piano. Now, I'm going to play for you a song that he didn't write, but I think he definitely made famous. And I would love it if you could sing along too if you know it. This is the love song, When I Fall in Love. Now, do we have any rugby fans here today? I thought we might. Well, I'm a huge fan of rugby, and being a Neath boy, there's only one team to support, and that, of course, is the Ospreys. You won't see any Scarlets or Cardiff Blues jerseys down here. Now, one of my favourite rugby highlights of the year are the Six Nations. I love going to the Principality Stadium with friends to watch Wales thrash England each and every time they play. But actually, my favourite part of the day isn't the rugby at all. It's the build-up to it. They always have the most amazing male voice choir serenading the stadium with rousing Welsh hymns. And this next piece is probably one of the most famous male voice choir pieces ever. It was written by Joseph Parry for his childhood sweetheart, Myfanwy Llywelyn. It is, of course, Myfanwy. Now, this next piece was originally written as a hymn, but has become firmly established as a Welsh rugby anthem, being sung before almost every test match involving the Wales team. I play for the Cardiff Arms Park Male Choir, and this is one of the pieces that we're always asked to sing, no matter where we go. The words of the first verse, written in 1890, translate to, "I don't ask for a luxurious life, gold or fine pearls. I ask for a happy heart, an honest heart, a pure heart." This is, of course, Calon Lan, and please feel free to sing along if you know it. Now, if I said to you, what is a musical that has a yellow brick road, red ruby slippers, and munchkins? Any guesses? Of course, it is The Wizard of Oz. Now, The Wizard of Oz was the first musical theatre production I ever starred in as a little primary school pupil in a local production, actually. I remember the horror on my mum's face when I came home, telling her that she was going to have to make me a munchkin costume, and her tirelessly creating this costume from scratch out of a shower cap and old bits of curtains. Now, one of my favourite pieces is the one that's sung by Dorothy. It is called Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Now, it's one of my favourites, and if you know it, I would love it if you could sing along with me. Now I'm afraid we've come to the last item in our performance, but before I introduce it, I want to say a huge thank you to you for joining me during this performance. It's been a joy to welcome you into my home and perform for you all, and I hope that it's brought a little bit of joy and brightened up your day in even a small way. And secondly, to Live Music Now for making these virtual performances possible. and for allowing music to remain accessible to all during these really difficult times. Now, my last piece is from a 1959 Roger and Hammerstein musical. It's based on the memoir of Maria von Trapp and the story of the von Trapp family singers. Any guesses? Yes, of course, it's The Sound of Music. Now, this particular song was sung by Captain von Trapp as a goodbye to his beloved Austria and is named after a white flower found high in the Alps. It is, of course, Edelweiss. It's one of my favourite pieces, and please do sing along if you know it. Stay safe and well, and I really hope to be performing for you very soon in person.